Shamone. Okay, I hate myself. Okay, I can't stop doing these Michael Jackson noises, and I can't stop seeing them on all my For You pages. So please, no! Hopefully after this video, we can stop and I can get a break from Michael Jackson. Because I'm really going through a dilemma morally right now, because the new Michael Jackson movie came out, and we're going to talk about whether or not we should or shouldn't separate the artist from the art. Obviously with Michael Jackson, for those who are unaware, one of the greatest pop stars of all time. Some would even say King of Pop. Now, mind you, King of Pop, a lot of controversies with him, okay? Because he was involved with several sexual abuse scandals, okay? We'll leave it at that. But, especially related to children as well. So you have that as context. Was he ever found guilty for these things? Were there settlements? You can do all your research on that. I will say, no matter how you look at it, it does leave a stain on someone's legacy at any point you are associated with child abuse in any sense or fashion. So I think that is an interesting thing that we can't just ignore when it comes to Michael Jackson. And the movie definitely did that, by the way. I didn't see the movie, but I did hear it was cut off at a certain time period because they did not need to, nor did they want to explore that. Well, I guess they probably needed to, but I guess since it's already been made and it's already been released and people already watched it and people spent money on it, we can just pretend like it never happened for some people, okay? So that's one of those moments where you kind of separate the art from artists. Now, could they have included that? Would it have been an important thing to include in said movie? Yes. Now, would it also be weird for Jafar Jackson to play, I want to say his uncle in that movie throughout that time period of his life? I would imagine that's a difficult ask. Now, that is a thing we're going to talk about because it's something, once again, that I have been thinking about. And I think I have a lot of people, when they heard the movie come out and when they're starting to see the reviews and people like it, audience-wise, the critics absolutely hated it. But people are going through this conversation internally right now, or maybe with their friends or people around them, of whether or not they're going to watch the movie or not, because once again, that is an important thing that happened. We can't just ignore that. And it's one of those things where you have a bunch of artists that create these incredible things. Thriller, incredible. Everything in between. Beat It. The Pepsi commercial. Shout out Pepsi. Michael Jackson was doing a lot of things back in the day, okay? And a lot of great things. And then, obviously, a bunch of scandals ruin that for everybody. Now, not entirely everybody, because, once again, his music continues to sell record numbers. I imagine he's at the top of the charts yet again with this movie coming out, because people now they're going to see the movie. They're going to want to listen to his old songs. They're going to want to listen to the songs that came out after his death, everything in between. But it's one of those things, once again, where is your moral line in the sand? Because we have this conversation with multiple artists, right? So you have Kanye West with his open support for Trump. Now, some people, maybe that doesn't do anything for them. Maybe they're like, you know what? I also support Trump, so I'm going to keep listening to Kanye, so it doesn't really do anything. Then they got into the anti-Semitism thing, and then maybe that was their moral line in the sand. A bunch of other crazy things were said. And eventually, some people find themselves, whether or not they're ever going to cross that line in the sand, whether the line ever existed for them, or whether or not this is too far, or maybe I don't care because you just move on with your life because it doesn't affect me personally. Chris Brown, another person, right? Incredible musician. I love me some Chris Brown. Now, sometimes when I put Chris Brown on, do I feel a little guilty? Yeah, because this man's out here beating a bunch of women. It wasn't just one, okay? So that's kind of like, it's hard to really separate it, right? Because internally, or mentally, right, you sometimes think of all these things that these people have done, despite creating such incredible moments of art that probably hit you at a certain time, and you love this song and because it meant to you so much, and then it just randomly hits. And eventually, for your favorite artist, at some point it happened. Now, once again, for some people, right, Morgan Wallen, another person, just letting the N-word fly, which does not affect his bottom line at all. The guy ended up going on SNL, selling out crazy tour dates, selling out packed out stadiums across the United States. I would say probably the biggest country music star right now in the United States is Morgan Wallen, and he has that as his past, and nothing is really affected. So if you're going to take your stand, sure, maybe that helps you sleep at night, but the show isn't actually going to go on because these people have created fans and they got a bunch of fandom for themselves, and they will defend them whether it's life or death. It's one of those things you see online. There's a couple communities I will never try to upset. The K-pop community being one of them, and the Beyonce fans, the Beehive. I don't want the smoke from you because I know how powerful you can be. I would be doxxed. I might be stranded in the middle of an alley. I might be jumped on the side of the road and wake up somewhere in the middle of Tokyo. I don't know how I got into Tokyo. I've never even been to Japan. The furthest I've been out of the United States is Canada, because Puerto Rico is still technically part of the United States, all right? Do your research, everybody. So, you have all that being a big factor as to whether or not, if you do take your moral line in the sand, does it change the outcome of anyone's career? Does it really move the needle for anything? And the honest answer is probably no, if we're being honest. Because once again, you went through that list. Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, Morgan Wallen, all have such a crazy, crazy, crazy history. And now obviously ranging from different types of things. But naturally, you not playing said song, maybe one time, two times, three times throughout the year, does not affect them, because they're still going to move tickets. They're still going to sell tickets. They're still going to sell out arenas. People are going to buy their merch because they have the built-in fandom. Because when you have a fandom, it's almost like you have unlimited power, because all you can do is issue, if you want to, you don't even have to do this part actually, but you can be involved in a scandal and issue a half-assed apology on Instagram where it's just a black background and it's white text and it says, "My bad, y'all, I didn't mean to," and then move on your day, and then people will forgive you because they are so like this with you, because fandom is such a crazy thing, because people will go to extreme lengths to really hold their person down, right? Like you had this whole Free Diddy movement. Now, some of it was memes, all right? I don't think a lot of people were serious, but there were a whole sect of people that were living and dying with Diddy throughout that entire investigation, that entire trial. As we got more information that came out, it's almost like they had all the facts in front of them and thought to themselves, but I mean, he's still a Diddy. He made Ciroc, right? Like, we still got to rock with Diddy. Like, come on. So it's one of those things where fandom is such a powerful thing, and no matter if you use it for good or use it for bad, you still have it. And for a lot of these artists, they're able to get away with so many things. I'm not just talking about musicians. There's directors and painters and all these plethora of people, even politicians. Fandom is such a powerful thing, and you can use and abuse your fans, and it's some of the saddest things to see, because even let's talk about David, the guy who just was recently arrested for killing a 14-year-old who he's happened to be dating, which is also on paper insane, all right? But there still is his weird core selection of human being fans, whether or not maybe they're bots, who's buying bots for David, but he has those people that even with all that information, and now he wasn't found guilty, but it certainly looks pretty bad being involved once again, just by itself. In a relationship, 14-year-old, I'm good. Don't need to be a fan of that. But also murdering said 14-year-old individual, allegedly, not bad either.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Or not good either. So would not be a fan of that, and I could live my life without ever blinking an eye. I took him off. As soon as I found out he was involved, off the playlist, okay? Didn't need it. Now, maybe if I had like 30 years of history with David, he's like my favorite artist of all time, you would have this like small amount of leeway, but I don't know. Once you involve kids and murder, I think I'm good. And I think that's also another thing that dictates whether or not you can separate the art from artists. It's one thing to disagree with someone politically, right? It's one thing to disagree with their take on something going on in the world. It is a whole completely different thing when they're out here committing crimes, okay? I think for me, the bare minimum, right, is like I can disagree with somebody politically, but man, like that album hit. Like if the Marias came out and were just suddenly MAGA, I'd be like, I think I'd have to remove it from the Spotify. So maybe it depends, once again, politically what their take was. But I will say, if they were out here murdering people, I'd be like, you know what, Maria's? Really love the albums. Favorite artist of all time. I think we're going to have to just take you off the Spotify. I'm sorry. I think that is my line in the sand, is murder. Okay? Don't need it. Not a good... Hey, once again, I'm here for hot takes. Murder, bad. I said it. Arrest me. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where... Once again, I think it also depends whether or not you can separate the art from artists, is what what was done by said artist. And I think that weighs into how a lot of people feel about things. But I also think an important factor when it comes to things like this is how long someone has been a fan of somebody, right? So when you have a situation, for example, Hulk Hogan, right? I never grew up with Hulk Hogan. I knew Hulk Hogan as like a character. I never knew him as like the wrestler. I knew him as like a icon, not a wrestler or like an actor. I just knew of Hulk Hogan. I knew him on reality TV, Hulk Hogan. I think he had a show with his kids, I want to say. Brooke Knows Best is that I think it's something like that, right? Where it's him, it's his kids, and they're just living life, right? Like that is the Hulk Hogan I knew. Now I had no personal connections with him growing up. I remember WrestleMania 18 watching it on like YouTube, and I thought, oh my God, this is awesome. So cool. Like that, the way the crowd's interacting with him, sick. But then it came out, obviously, he's just letting all the racial slurs slide. Like from downtown, he's shooting them. He's saying them all. And I think for a lot of people, that was their, oh my God, we cannot trust this guy. And then obviously he doubles down with being with Trump and all those things. So a lot of people to themselves were thinking, you know what? I grew up with him, but I'm not able to really rock with him, right? And that was one of those things where you saw that shift for Hulk Hogan, even with long-term fans or fans that were just new to him. They struggled with that. And then he died. And then a lot of people kind of took a step back and like, oh man, like Hulk Hogan, he's one of the greatest of all times. He meant so much to me. But, you know, he obviously had that history with saying things that I didn't agree with. But, you know, I still love him and he's the greatest ever of all time. And I will never stop supporting Hulk Hogan to the very end. And that's how a lot of people felt. And for me, it was very easy to be like, okay, a piece of shit died. I hate to be blunt about it. Like, you can say he had his impact on the history of wrestling, all that and then some. But it seems from my perspective, from what I have learned and have no long-term connections with, it seems like he was kind of just like a shitty dude. Like and a lot of those old school wrestlers turn out to be very shitty people. Now, I'm very curious if you had all these people from that generation with the impact of social media of today. I'm very fascinated about how far they would get with a lot of their ideals, because a lot of people were either incredibly homophobic, incredibly racist, out here committing crimes, out here doing a lot of shady things. Like, there's a lot of terrible things people were doing back in the day. We just didn't get to see it because we didn't have a camera on you 24/7, or a guy in a mullet and a mustache recording in his bedroom. So, I mean, it's one of those things once again. And now, say once again, if it was like the Marias and Maria just comes out and says every single racial slur on the planet, that's a tough one for me, because I ride or die with Maria's right now. But obviously, I think for me, I have a sense of mild morality, because I'll be honest, every now and then I play a Chris Brown song. I can't help it. I wish I could. But from time to time, it just goes on. I'm like, you know what? This is a great song. But then I'm reminded of Chris and all this freaking shit, man. Stop it. Here's the thing. When it comes to anything regarding public figures, I think a general tip or advice for a lot of people is never look up to them. Never put them on a pedestal to you. Just appreciate them for what they are. Appreciate the artwork that they put out. But the moment you start idolizing these people, I think it blinds you from reality. And I think that's what tends to happen for a lot of people when it comes to being able to separate the art from artists, is that they already have these people up here. They're looking up at them. And the moment you start looking up at someone, you start to worship them a little bit, and you start to let a lot of things slide, especially like if internally, if a friend did that to you, you would cut them off instantly. Like if your friend was David, and David was out here sleeping and messing around with a 14-year-old, an underage person. I might have the age allegedly misconstrued here, right? But the idea is underage human being. You would cut them off. But for those fans, it's like this weird thing where, well, I mean, he wasn't found guilty yet, so I'll still play the songs. Or, well, I mean, we don't have all the details, so I'm still going to listen to David because I support him, I love him, and everything like that. It's weird. Because once again, if you heard your friend was out here doing that, and you're like, hey, I mean, Greg's kind of cool though. Like every now and then he just gives out hot dogs with mustard and ketchup and relish. What do you put in a hot dog? Mayonnaise, coleslaw, chili cheese? You know what? My side note, if you're putting cheese on hot dogs, stop it. I cannot stand cheese dogs. Oh, Ew. Like, even just like the nacho cheese on top, no. If you have the cheese dogs and the cheese like inside the hot dog, no. Stop it. Now, I don't know why I started talking about hot dogs. I have been having, once again, not once again, this is like an announcement. I can't stop thinking about hot dogs for some reason because my Instagram feed nonstop like LA hot dog experiences, and the guy's out here, he's got his little pan, he's like, you want a hot dog? It's a hot dog, right? Wrapped around in bacon. He's got the little pan, he's got the grilled onions, the peppers, the jalapeno peppers all grilled on there, and he's got ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. No relish. Just realized that. Interesting. Hot Cheetos.
Uno con hot Cheetos y el otro no. Claro que sí. Yeah. Y una vez. Con mustard está bien, ¿verdad? Sí. Okay. Eso, para que no se mire. Oye, juntamos. Eso. No hot Cheetos, ¿verdad?
Uno con hot Cheetos y el otro
Bien, ¿no?
con chile.
Eso, mero. Mira nomás. Unos hot dogs, mira, con ese raspadito tamarindo, mira. ¡Hala! Ni para que digan que no se les antoja, pero oigan. Y un chilito.
Now, to me, mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, sign me up. Onions, throw it on there. Hot Cheetos, why? I do not get the reasoning for hot Cheetos being on a hot dog, whether they're crumbled, left whole, don't want it, don't need it. Needless to say, the point here that I'm having with you is, ultimately, should you or shouldn't you separate the art from the artist? Now, ultimately, this is kind of a lame ending, but I think it's up to you. Now, for me, I think it is based on... it's so subjective, and it's really scenario-based, right? Because once again, it depends on how long I've been with this person as like a fan. And I think it also depends on the severity of what said artist has done and how far I'm willing to let things slide. I think if an artist was out here just saying like something stupid and apologize instantly, I think that's forgivable. Now, if the artist is out here running people over in an SUV, I think that's typically where I draw the line. Murder, crimes, doing illegal things. All things, I think, are my moral line in the sand. Now, some people, for some reason, can get away with it. I can't explain it mentally, why that is, but I'm curious what it is for you. And I also think one of the biggest ones, actually, before I close it out, is Harry Potter, right? Because for what it's worth, right? Like Harry Potter, multi-million-dollar industry in itself. Like it's got movies, it's got merch, it's got music, it's got Broadway performances, it's got plays, everything. Anything you can think of that can spin out from Harry Potter, the franchise, it has been made. They have been printing out money. It probably has a top 20 GDP. That's how much Harry Potter be making, okay? They be printing out money. Now, that being said, the person that said or created Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, incredibly problematic for a lot of people when it comes to her take on gay people. Now, clearly, she's got a lot of beef with gay people, same with Chick-fil-A as well. And I think a lot of people were instantly turned off, and valid. That is a fair thing to be like, you know what? I don't support Harry Potter anymore. I'm good on it. But whether or not you did or didn't, it still is one of the biggest franchises on the planet. And I think it sucks that the person behind one of the biggest franchises on the planet is a piece of shit. That sucks for all those fans that grew up with Harry Potter, that love Harry Potter. And at the end of the day, she's kind of annoying. She's kind of the worst. And I think that's such like it's almost like when your favorite artist does something, it's like a low blow. It's like they legitimately drop kicked you in the nuts. You're just left so disappointed in them because you had this perspective on how important this piece of artwork, whether it was a movie, a book, a song, anything else in between, even if you go into your favorite wrestling match, your favorite food from a chef that you just watched all their work and you bought all their cookbooks, no matter how you look at it, art's everywhere. Artists are everywhere across the world. They're going to disappoint you at some point. Somebody is bound to disappoint you, and you're going to be left with this scenario face to face. Do I continue to support it? And how much does it truly weigh on me if I do support it? And I think ultimately that's what the conclusion is. How does it weigh for you? Can you just watch it in peace and are you able to separate the art from the artist? Or are you someone that really analyzes everything and that when you're watching something made from a very problematic person, it sits with you subconsciously and you're no longer able to watch said thing? So I'm really curious about what it is for you guys, whether or not you struggle with this or not, or whether it's just me going right now. Just start moonwalking. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe.
Show me your best LeBron.
Oh, you know, liberal silencer?